Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind The Country Chic Cottage. So today I'm going to talk about making paper flowers and adding them to a cute shadow box. I'm going to put a monogram on the front of mine, but you can put whatever you would like on the front. And you can make these as big or as small as you would like. This video is sponsored by Cricut, however all projects and opinions are my own. So I'm going to be using my Cricut Explore Air 2 today, but literally any of the Cricut machines can make this project. And the best part of this project for me is that it can be completely personalized. The colors, the size, the types of flowers you use, what you put on the front, everything can be personalized to what you want it to be. So let's take a look at the supplies we're going to use. So I'm going to use my Cricut Explore. Any Cricut machine will work for this project. And then you're going to need some type of shadow box. I picked this one up at Michael's. And then you'll need paper. So I'm going to use 4 colors, different shades of pink on my shadow box. The paper you use is completely up to you. I'm going to use a navy blue for the back. All of this paper is Cricut paper. So these top 3 colors come from the Cricut Sensei sampler, which is this one on the bottom. And then this color is rose. And this one is dark pink. So dark pink, rose, 2 pinks out of the Sensei sampler, and the navy blue out of the Sensei sampler. And then I'm going to use permanent vinyl on the front. I'm going to use white as well as Cricut transfer tape. And then you will need your light grip mat, as well as a weeding tool and a scraper to add the vinyl to the front of the shadow box. So now let's take a look in Cricut Design Space at designing our project. All right, so let's take a look at our designs in Cricut Design Space. You'll need a flower as well as monogram for the vinyl on the front or some kind of design on the front. So for the flower, I like these spiral flowers and I'm going to show you how to make those, but let's talk about how to find them in Cricut Design Space. So you can go to Image, and I was searching for a monogram here, but we're going to search for a flower. We're going to pull down Project Type and we're going to click 3D. So this sort of filters them down a little bit and you'll start to see these spiral-like flowers. So in any of those that you like, so I like this version, you can click here and click View Image Sets. And that will show you what image set that the flower is in. So if you open that image set, you will see more variations, most likely, of the flower that you're looking at. So here I could choose like pointy leaves, these leaves, or the spiral, just plain spiral. So from there you should be able to find a flower that you like for your shadow box. So I have inserted this version of the flower, and all I did was just play with the size until 4 would fit on a sheet. The 4 on the sheet helped me utilize my material the best, and then when I just cut 4 on a sheet and sort of made some samples, and those fit really well inside the shadow box that I'm using. So you can see that mine is 4.911 by 5.181 is what the dimensions turned out to be. Now when I click Make It, I can make 4 copies, click Apply, and if I scroll down here to my flowers, you can see that 4 will fit on a sheet. Now let's talk about making the monogram for the front. Now you don't have to have a monogram for the front. You could do a quote, you could do just a cut design, whatever you want for the front. I'm going to do a monogram, and I just searched H monogram in Cricut Design Space and came up with this and added my name in a font that I liked in the middle. So for anyone wondering, my font is a classic Roman standard regular. So just in case that you like that font, that's what it is. So I added my font to the center of my monogram. I sized it to about 6 inches by 6 inches, and I attached those 2 pieces together so they would cut from one piece of vinyl. So now let's head to our machine. I think I'm going to use my Explorer for this, and let's start cutting some flowers as well as the vinyl for our front design. So first I added my paper to my mat, and I set my material to medium cardstock in Cricut Design Space. Now we can add our mat to the machine, and I have my fine point blade installed, and we'll press the go button to start. Then we'll just remove the mat. And now we can remove these flowers from the mat. And I'm going to talk about assembling the flowers and my recommendations for how to make them. So for the flowers themselves, I'd recommend turning the mat over, then peeling the mat back to remove each of the flower pieces. There are a variety of ways to assemble your flowers. I use my hot glue gun for my flowers, but you can use other forms of adhesive as well. The other thing you can do, so what we're going to do is start from the outside edge and roll to the inside and use this middle portion that's like a circle for the glue. You can use a variety of tools to help you roll the flowers. So most common people use a quilling tool. So a quilling tool would be an extra expense if you do not have one. So what I recommend is if you're just making like one shadow box for yourself, don't buy a quilling tool. There really is no reason to do that. If you're going to make these shadow boxes to sell, a quilling tool will make your life a lot easier. Now, if I am just going to make one shadow box for me, I'm probably just going to use my hands. However, there are a couple of tools that you can try and see if you like them. One of those is just a sharp pair of pliers. The other would be tweezers. So you can try these to hold that centerpiece as you roll your flower. What I like to do is just use my hands, start from this outer edge, and roll this as tight as I can get it. So I just use my fingers to hold it, and I don't have any problems, and I can do these pretty quickly. I would say like the quilling tool, I've seen people put it on a drill, and it does get super fast when you use something like that. If you are going to be making flower shadow boxes to sell, or several of them, I would look into doing something like that. But for this one, I'm using 4 rows of 4 flowers. I need 16 of these flowers. I can just roll them by hand in less time than it would take me to find a different tool. So I roll this up as tight as I can get it first. And then once I have this as tight as I can get it, I just sort of release my fingers slightly and let it expand until I like the look. So in nature, flowers would be partially open, partially closed. There would be a variety of different looks. I like sort of an open flower that looks a little something like this. So I just let it open as far as I want it to open and then hold it with my fingers. And then I'm going to fold this circle piece down slightly. Basically, I do not want to burn my hands when I go to glue this. So I want this down so I can pile the glue here. And then I'm going to flip it back over onto this flower that I'm now holding into place so it doesn't get any larger before I can get some glue on it. And now I can just use my hot glue gun, add quite a bit of glue to this area, then carefully fold this piece back onto my flower and just hold it into place for a few seconds. So what is happening is that glue is securing to all of the layers of this flower. And now what we're going to do, as I'm holding this and letting the glue cool, I'm just going to kind of work these outside petals. The 2 to 3 rows of the petals, I just work them and kind of bend them and make them look like they're kind of open a little bit. I don't do it to all the petals, and I don't do it to the same amount every time. I basically do it until I like the look of the flower itself. So I might do just a little bend on the next row. By the time I've done that, my glue is cool and my flower is complete. All right, so I have the navy blue paper and I just cut it to the size of the shadow box. And then I have all my paper flowers complete. So just continue with the same method for all the colors and all the flowers. And then we're going to take our shadow box apart. So I cut my blue to the size of this backer. And this shadow box, so it's going to depend on your shadow box, but this one has an insert inside. So I am going to take that out because all of my flowers will need to fit inside the insert as that will take up room inside of the shadow box. So the first thing I'm going to do is secure my paper to the backer, and I'm going to use hot glue for everything. So just a little hot glue around here, and we'll just put this paper down onto the backing. Now I want my flowers to go in a certain order color-wise. So you could do this randomly, you could do all the same color, you could do, you know, 2 colors, more colors than this, just totally depends on what you want to do. And what I'm going to do is add that insert all around the outside, and I'm going to use it to help space my flowers as I glue them to the paper. So the paper is glued to the backing, and then I'm going to glue the flowers each individually to the paper. Then I am going to clean up any glue strings before I assemble my shadow box. So you can pull those out, you can use a hair dryer to sort of melt them, however you would like to clean those up. But be sure to get as many of those off of the paper flowers as you can before assembling the shadow box itself. Then once those glue strings are removed, we can reassemble the shadow box. So you just want to make sure that your glass is clean on the inside. And I added that insert back in, and then I'll just take my flowers, and I want the lightest at the top. And so my hanger is at the top, and my hanger is located where those lightest flowers are. Then I'll just pop this into the shadow box. Now, the flowers make this one pretty tight, so we'll just kind of squeeze it down and fold these slightly down all the way around. And there you have your flower shadow box. So then we can clean any debris from the front, and we're going to add our monogram to the front that I cut out of vinyl. So I just cut the monogram itself out of vinyl. Because I went ahead and weeded it and added my transfer tape, but because it's pretty large, I'm going to use the hinge method of application. So I'm just going to run a piece of tape down the center. So I found the center of my design, ran my tape down the center, and I just want to make sure this is burnished down really well on both the front as well as the back. And I am using a permanent vinyl on this because I don't foresee removing it. If you wanted something that you could change more easily, I would use a removable vinyl at this step. And then we'll bring our shadow box over, and I can use this tape to find the center. So it looks like I'm about in the center, so I just want to make sure this is taped down pretty well. And then we're going to just remove one side. So this method of vinyl transfer makes it a bit easier because you don't have to deal with so much at one time. So I'm going to peel back the backing paper from one side of the vinyl only. Then I'll just cut away just from the portion that I peeled back, and it's not quite half, but it will get us close enough. And then we'll just lay this vinyl down on this half, slowly working from the middle out. This also helps with bubbles because you're just working with half and you can really work from one side to the other. Then once you have that half stuck, we can remove this tape. Flip this over, and now we can remove the backing sheet from the other half. And once again, work that down from the side going slowly over to the other side, helping to remove any bubbles from the application. And then all that's left to do is peel back that transfer tape, burnish down your vinyl one more time, and this one is ready to display in your home or give as a gift. So I love the way my Shadowbox turned out. I hope you do as well, and I hope this gives you a little inspiration for making a Shadowbox for your home. So get to making those paper flowers, rolling them up, adding them to a cute Shadowbox, and adding whatever you would like to the front. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please drop down in the comment section and ask away. If this video helped you, please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have Cricut videos every week and you don't want to miss any of those. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.